between, my first solo show in Tokyo, and with it, I ask, in an age defined by global movement and digital interconnectivity, when we can grow up thousands of miles from our ancestral homes, how do we define home and our places of belonging? I started conceptualizing this show in January of last year, when at the very same time, I was seeing countless reports of mass deportations. Those reports filled me with a helplessness and a rage, a constant reminder that even after decades of living in this country, to be an immigrant is to be in a fragile position. To me, the immigrant experience is a series of uprooting and rerouting, which is why I chose to visualize each year that I have lived in a country as tree rings, with the United States being my biggest and longest. And I silk screened those journeys with watercolor on the most delicate, fragile washi paper I could find. Deportation is a 2-hour performance piece that drips water onto my journey according to a Google search volume for the term deportation. I just realized, I don't know if the sound is on. There we go. The water drips slowly when the search volume is low, but it grows faster when the search volume gets higher, creating an uneven staccatoed melody. And by the end of the 2-hour performance, the delicate washi paper is torn where my time in the US used to be. And it begs the question, how do we define home when tomorrow can feel so fragile? In search of an answer and to find my own definition of home, I interviewed 7 others with similar backgrounds to me. Asian diaspora who grew up in a Western country and chose to move to Tokyo in their adulthoods. Across many hours, I learned about all of the places that they have lived, each of the motivations behind the international moves that they have made, and how they define their home and their places of belonging. I silkscreened their journeys onto washi paper and mounted them perpendicularly to the wall, accompanied by an excerpt from their interviews and a photo that reminds them of home, so that as you read their own personal individual definitions of home, you can focus on just that one person. But as you turn around and study their journeys, you can see all of the others overlapping behind them. A reminder that they and their journeys echo each other's. I learned a lot from their definitions of home, but I still struggled to find my own. And so in this final piece, I invite you to participate in the art by adding in your own journeys and your own definitions of home. And when you submit your answer, your journeys are projected onto the washi paper and animated in front of you. And your definition of home is paired with another visitor's who may have grown up in completely different countries from you, but whose answers are the most similar to yours. And through this, I have come across some beautiful answers, like this one from E, who wrote, "Home is found in the liminal space between my family and friends in the States and those in Japan." And their answer was paired with S's, who answered, "Home is a concept that does not exist in the same timeline. A part of me visualizes home in Sidney, and yet another in Shanghai, in the context of when I was growing up." At the same time, I love that the show was able to normalize not yet having an answer, Because even now, after all of this, I still don't have one for myself. But through this show, I was able to learn about myself, that I create art to understand myself. And I show my art because I yearn to be seen and to be understood, and for others to feel seen and feel understood. Because when I share my art, this physical location becomes my temporary place of belonging. So thank you so much for sharing this beautiful moment of connection